Yeah, they
right?
already switched a lot of banks over already.
Yeah. Did you see they got a whole new, like one half of the world is on the old internet and the whole other rest of the world is on the new internet
Yeah,
that don't got nothing to do with each other,
yeah,
right? So um, it's a large shift and it's almost complete.
yeah.
And when it's done, everybody gonna know what happened. They just put out the arrest warrant. They just arrested what's his name? Comey, the dude from the Russiagate scandal. So the
Hmm.
first arrest been made on that. Next thing they're gonna have to, and then Trump just gave orders for the DOJ to go ahead and execute the arrest immediately. He gave that order today on a Sunday, or it might have been yesterday on a Saturday. But he gave the order to start arresting these suckers immediately, right after they called all of the generals to Quantico.
Hmm.
Not Quantico. It's a Marine base. They called them all to the Marine base. I forgot which one it was, but they have never in the history of the country called all of the generals in one place at one time. That's unheard of,
Hmm.
right? But they just did it. Something big about to shift. It's about to pop. I'm waiting on the fat lady to sit down on that pimple.
Hey man, I'm already ready for whatever. I'm ready for whatever. Like C Murder said, we ready for whatever. I hope Teddy Ready about to clip his wings, touch the sky, bruh. I think C Murder was kind of like psycho a little bit, bro. He's a psycho serial killer a little. Yeah, there's something he
Look,
be saying.
Malcolm said it best. If you ain't an angry black man in America, you're an insane black man in America.
Hey, look, what either are. Hey, like Doc said, they don't love you. I mean, they don't love you and they hate you. It's like this. Like Martin Luther King was teaching love. Let's hold hands. Let's join together. And bang, they shot him. Malcolm X said, "Hell no." You see how he going the opposite. Bang, they shot him. So it stands to reason. It don't matter how you go with them. They don't like you anyway. They ain't gonna like you.
The thing is this: you don't want your inferior to muster up the wherewithal to be your superior after you done them wrong, because you don't know how they going. They got a right for revenge if they choose it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they gonna choose because of what you done did. Right. So you don't want to give up the power to the people you done did the dirt to. Because if you get the power up to the people you done did the dirt to, you don't know. You like, they at your mercy.
Right.
Right? So they don't want you to join them. So don't talk that peace talk. Shoot them down. But they don't want you to start your own Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, etc., etc. They'll burn you down. Right? If you talk about standing up to them, Malcolm, they will shoot you. Get rid of you. Right? If you make alliances in high places with us, they JFK you. They RFK you.
Yeah.
Right? So it don't matter because they don't want us to get back on top because they say all the stuff we did to them, we don't know what they gonna do to us.
Right.
It don't matter. We gonna do whatever we want to do when we get on top.
Now,
but we ain't gonna do nothing reckless though.
Yeah, right.
Because we follow the matriarchal order, and the matriarchal rules say getting rid of this person gonna benefit or hurt the community. Right? If it's gonna benefit the community, arrivederci, off the cliff you go.
Yeah.
If leaving you around gonna benefit the community, well, we gotta figure out a reformation plan. We gotta change your mindset and get you to bump straight. Because if you don't bump straight, even if you benefit the community, you off the cliff you go. But if you ain't gonna benefit the community in no kind of way, and you on that list, off the cliff you go, out the gate, ain't nothing to talk about. But if it's a benefit the community can draw from you, and you willing to reform, but you know what Elijah say, can the devil be reformed? No. It's been tried.
Yeah.
It's utterly failed. So If he can't be reformed, that means he was a devil to begin with, and he gonna remain a devil. So we gonna give him the devil's reward.
Right.
But if he's able to reform, that means he wasn't never the devil to begin with. He was us.
Right. Right. And on that note, we could drop the mic and walk off stage. We had 2 hours and 30 minutes. Hey, y'all, we got 1,800 people in here. Everybody hit that like button right now before we get up out of here. If you want to show Raw, hey, some love, like I say, we want to keep them off the plantation. We're going to have them back as soon as we can. We got the Cash App right here dropped on the screen and the PayPal for the people that was asking. We was dropping it every people was asking. I was just dropping it every 5-10 minutes. But yeah, everybody send them $5 right now. Put them in the game. If you want to show them $25, whatever you want to do, man. You know, if you feel in your heart. What else we gotta say? I was gonna ask you something else before we get out of here, bro. It was something about maybe it wasn't supposed to ask you right now about it. I think I might have had it wrote down.
In between these dimensions and what that means for us, Rod.
So, they talk about the veil in masonry.
A lot, yeah.
The lifting the veil of the shrine, the sacred shrine of the Black Madonna.
Yeah. The
tomb, Hiram Biff, all of them is behind the veil.
Yeah.
Right? There's all concepts that's actually formulas for physics problems. We really looking at it being translated into our modern language from ancient times using the symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the symbol carried the original meaning into the future, but it's like when everybody telling the same story and you go around the room, it don't come back like it started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the symbol remains the focal point to keep people looking at it for what it is instead of what the illusion is telling them it is. So the one thing we do, if we want to know what's behind the veil, first we have to understand the veil itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The veil is part of the Kali Yuga time cycle that put us in the sleep state as the gods, the resting state for the gods. So all of the gods been working for trillions of years, and then all of a sudden the superior gods say, go take a nap. You need some rest. So you go through the Kali Yuga, which is the state of ignorance, the darkness of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the darkness of the veil comes from the emptiness of space that resides as mind, where mind got to fill the space and build the diagrams, which is the physics formulas to put everything back in order within the mind, the same way it's put together outside the mind, and use the inner self as a mirror for the outer self. So it's telling you principles of high magic, but it's simplifying them where you could just tell somebody that the veil itself is telling you how to lift it by learning certain key magical practices, right? Or mathematical studies. So it's hardwired into everything, right? But it's scattered out to you have to get to a certain level of recognition that you can see it being reflected in all of the things around you. Right? Then you start tracking it back to try to find out the source. Where did this come from? Once you find out the source, when it happened, what did it mean? So while you learning and understanding that there's certain practices that's required to lift the veil or rent the veil is what they call it. Right? These practices are all mentalism. They all deal with powers of the mind, being able to align your inner world to your outer world until you can melt away the ripples in the current.
Indeed. Yo, did anybody here at like the 3-minute mark when Ra was talking, it sounded like this nigga was on a spaceship, and it was like like it sounded like real like an alien was behind him talking. Y'all can rewind it and listen, but underneath him it sounded like an alien, like a spaceship or something. Did y'all hear that? It was yeah, like the 3-minute mark, right? Rod, where you at, man? Cause you ain't got the camera. You on a spaceship, Rod? Where Rod at? They done abducted him. Rod, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, my brother David heard it. See, David was like, I heard it. Yeah, somebody said like digital artifacts. What was that, Rod? We think there's some shit going on? Or I'm just being a conspiracy theorist, man. What's going on?
Look, everything in the world is holographic by nature.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. That's that talk. That's that.
This talk. This is one of the ways you understand the veil.
Yeah.
Michael Talbot, Holographic Universe. Remember?
Yes, got it. Bobby Hemmett told me to get that book. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you understand how a holographic projector works?
Yeah, somewhat. Every piece of the hologram has the whole hologram within it.
That's the fractals of the hologram.
It's the fractals. Okay.
Right. The fractals are like the pixels on your phone that come together to form the whole image.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The fractals is coming together to form the image of everything in the universe.
Mm.
Now, if you take one fractal, everything in it is the same information that's in the whole of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
That means that each fractal has enough information in it to explain everything.
Indeed.
But we got to first understand the smallest part first.
Right.
So when we're looking at lifting the veil, we're trying to get the mind. Right? Remember it say in the New Testament it say, "Let this mind be in you, which was in Christ Jesus."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he said, what does it say? Who thought not it to be a sin to make himself equal with God?
God, yeah.
And he was made so by the thinking of the mind. Right? So you want this mind to be in you. If you don't think like a God, you will never understand what God thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always be behind the curve.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to lift the veil, you got to start asking yourself, because remember, you can't lie to yourself.
Nope. Mm-mm.
You lie to everybody else.
I talk about that. People lie
like you can't lie to yourself, because as soon as you try to lie to yourself, guess who already know you lying? You already know you lying. Right? So you can't lie to yourself, because you have to have the inner dialogue to come up with the story that's going to be the perfect lie, or so you think it's the perfect lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That means you had to first, you and your inner self had to concoct your story.
Right?
It's the same with the external world. Whatever it is going on inside of you, working with the other pixel projectors, y'all are telling the same story.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time.
Same time.
Right? But then the wave that moves through the pixels, like the sun moves across the earth, when the waves move across the pixels, the ones that's not getting the direct light, not lit. And you can still use the darkness in order to use it as a backdrop to line in the color. All of the colors that's being projected is continuing upon being overlaid over a dark screen. Right? Because when you look at the streamers in the Matrix, you see the neon green, but you're not paying attention to the background black.
Right.
Okay, now, when you look at the picture behind you now through the screen, you're not realizing that it's being reflected off the pitch of the dark black.
Mm-hmm.
if you zoom in between the pixels or the pixels on the screen of the photograph, the further you get in, you find out that it's more black there than it is actual color.
Mm.
Dark matter, right? And this is the composition of what the veil made of. The dark matter of the mind. Subconscious mind. So we all be put under a hypnotic spell. Right? The hypnotic spell make us believe that everything we agree to is what we projecting out, never knowing that we projecting out not what we agreed to, but what we was told to accept. Once we realize that we weren't projecting their reality for them, we can hijack their system by projecting our own reality. This is why you need leaders. Leaders give you a focal point to put the energy so that you can know who winning the game.
Rod, let me ask you this, Rod. With the information you're talking about, we're talking about the thinning of this veil. One of the words that we hear continuously is the ascension of the soul, and how our spirit is. You know, people talk about ascension symptoms, ascension this, ascension that. What word is better to describe what we're experiencing right now, Rod? Would you say ascension, or would you say remembering? What word do you think is better suited for what we're experiencing right now at this time?
We're graduating. Everybody's graduating from a different class, but we all graduating.
But we all graduate, but just different classes, you're saying?
Yeah. Imagine a K through 12 one school.
Yeah.
We all in the same school. And we all get a graduation ceremony, but we only notice the ones for the 5th grade graduation and for the high school graduation. We remember them, but we remember we've been passed up class to class from the beginning.
I thought deaf was graduation.
That's the final graduation. That's when you exit the school.
Right, okay.
Right? But while you're in the school, you graduate from grades.
Got you. Okay.
Okay, now, and to put it in terms that a traveling man can understand, we call it putting it in degrees. Now you got 3 degrees of Blue House Masonry in the Apprentice Fellow Craft Master Mason. But when you get to the Scottish Rite, then you got over 32 degrees to contend with. Plus, you got an honorary 1 1/3 that was given to the 33 1/3 in order to make him be above freezing at 32 degrees. Right? So we master flipping by unraveling the meaning of the veil and then telling you what it's telling you that you're looking at.
Got you.
That makes sense. So all of the traveling men right now is in utter amazement because they thought that the degrees that they was getting was making them important in the brotherhood. But it wasn't the degrees they was getting, it's what they did to get the degree that gave them value. Right?
You know, can you hear me, Rod? Because it sounded like he was breaking up. Can you hear me? And I think he's, for some reason...
Hold on a second, Brother Rick.
Okay. You give Rod Hayes a second, family. Let the brother get a brother a second. All right. But shout out to everybody in the chat. We almost had 2,000 in the chat. Great way to start the show so far. Yeah, the veil is thinning. And I know y'all hearing and seeing things and feeling things that y'all haven't felt before in your lives. This show is really to let y'all know that y'all not going crazy, regardless of what the world of society tells you. Maybe some of y'all might be a little crazy. Everybody's a little bit crazy. A little crazy is good in a world that's crazy. But don't worry about it, y'all. We are
listen.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you back? What's up, brother?
Look, sane people look insane to people that's insane.
There you go.
Insanity can be manufactured and given to you as a contagious aberration.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about contagion aberration in Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they don't tell you that the different people can give you their thought form. It's the egregore at that point.
Mm.
They infecting you with an egregore that in Dianetics is called an engram, but
Ingram?
it's an engram.
Mm.
And the engram is the negative thought form that puts you a bad operating system in your mainframe. So you go back to the computer principle, garbage in, garbage out. So if you know how to disrupt the program, this is where you dump in the garbage in at.
Right.
It's the breach in the wall. You're giving it to somebody as a thought form based on your character and disposition.
Mm.
Right? So they sitting there and they listening to you talk your talk, but you influencing them to get the engram in by inferring what you believe and let their mind take it from there, and they can slightly twist it to fit their own narrative.
Right.
Because they still got to fill in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when the understanding of how it works becomes known to the people, it make it easier to see through the deception. The problem is that when they first see it, they don't believe that they seeing what they seeing. When they exactly what you see. The level of corruption you see is worse than that.
Mm.
No matter how bad you think it is, it's worse. The level of human trafficking that you think it is, it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much worse than what they doing in their adrenochrome factories and underground torture cities. Right? It's so much worse because our mind, the regular person with a good, generous heart, they mind don't think people think that wickedly.
Right.
But all it is the extreme opposite of the good and the good people.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have the law opposites in the realm of polarity. Right? The polarity comes in, and now we're talking about what basically call your right severity and mercy. Why do they call them severity and mercy? Because you learn between the buffer and the stressor. The mercy is the thing you want to move toward. It's the buffer. And the stressor is the stuff you want to move away from.
Right.
Right? And that's the stressor.
Right.
So if you want to teach somebody something, you expose them to both of them repeatedly, and they 9 out of 10 gonna pick the right one based on what they trying to do.
Indeed. Rod, I want to ask you, in terms of the veil being thin, and people can feel certain things that they didn't feel. I notice sometimes when I wake up, Rod, when my spirit returns to this realm, sometime when I wake up from it could be an intense dream, or it could just be a certain type of sleep, and I wake up and I got this eerie feeling, and I feel like I'm still in between worlds, and I feel like I got a lot of control over this realm because I'm like Neo in the Matrix almost. It's like that first hour or some shit like that. I want to know that feeling. Is that going to be like a all day feeling for us? The more the veil thins, like we're sort of like this eerie in between world feeling where we're totally not here. Is that how we would describe that feeling when the veil gets extremely thin and the worlds merge?
Well, we all have inner talents, either skills that we develop or talents that we brought from past lives that we was born doing, right? The lifting of the veil is about the awakening of the mind. So the mind going through the Kali Yuga, the dark state.
Wait, hold up, Rod. They saying our mics are going in and out. It's I listen, family. I hear Rod fine. How is it with y'all? The mic situation. So both me and Rod are breaking up.
That could be the YouTube.
The sound is bad. Hey, Rod, let's both go out and come back in.
Okay.
See if that helps. All right. All right. Yeah. Rod, you hear me, my brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Yeah, look, people are saying I was good. So it's just some people. Then it's not every. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, it's just some of y'all. All right. Y'all good? Okay. All right, Rod, go ahead, my brother.
What was we on?
Yeah, I'll ask you that question about waking up and having that eerie feeling the first hour I'm awake, where I feel like I'm in between worlds, but that feeling doesn't last the whole day. It's just for that first hour I'm awake. And I want to know, is that feeling something that we would experience throughout the course of the entire day? Because the veil is so thin and the worlds are more joined together.
So the reason why it's the first hour after you wake up is called a serotonin response.
Serotonin response. Okay.
Right. Now remember, during the day, your serotonin gonna convert to melatonin. As you move through your day, the melatonin is gonna be reconverted back into serotonin. Right? It's gonna be feeding you back through your endorphins as serotonin, the happy hormone. Right? But once you then went through the course of the day and you use it almost all up, you have to use your sleep to build your serotonin levels by converting the melatonin back into serotonin. You get me?
Yeah.
Okay, now, it's the same when you waking up. You're going to have that serotonin rush when you first wake up. Because you coming out of you ever see when they tranquilize one of those elephants and they give them the shot to wake them up? That sucker be laying there and then he just pounce up like he was never down.
Right.
Right, that's the serotonin response. So it gives you that rush of energy for the day, but you can carry the energy if you practice carrying the energy throughout the day. It'll just be natural. You have to first study it. What do I experience in it? Once you can identify all of what you're experiencing in that feeling, then you can practice it any time of the day until you make it into a habit. And then you'll be able to have that sensation. As long as you know you gotta feel this way, you gotta be thinking this, you gotta be disconnected from this bullshit over here and disconnected from that bullshit, and I feel like I'm free. I feel like I'm floating through heaven. Right? You can keep that energy all day. You can use it. They call it shifting to the zone. This is when you learn to use your focus energy to put it into the investment of accomplishing the goal. You go into the zone. You heard about the athletes that go into the zone, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. It's the same thing. But when you live in your challenging life, you will always have the serotonin response that you stepping into the combat zone. You building up the energy, you burning off the excess, you exchanging the energy equally, and this is how you maintain the balance in your serotonin melatonin ratios. And then the side effect is to give you this feeling that this is the best feeling I ever had. I could take on anything. Right? Here's strong, I take on anything. But it's the energy exchange that's taking place through you love the life you live, so you create more of that so that you can have more of a loving life.
Right.
I tell the warriors, turn your war story into a love story.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason you're here. But for the gardeners, right, I tell them to turn their gardening story into a love story.
Right.
It's the same principle. Whatever story you live in, at the end, you want to turn it into a love story. Right? Because once you turn it into a love story, you change all of the negative meanings of life to work for the positive outcome of concluding on a love story. So you have like watching a love story in a movie. You got
Right.
to have the meeting, the introduction, the build up. Then you got to round out to the finale.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a love story.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at your life. You went through this. I came up from out of that. I moved over here and I moved out of that. And then you find the love story in it.
Mm. Rob, with the veil getting thin, they said when the veil was thin before, people would see all types of creatures that we hear about in books. I want to ask you, Rob, you ever had experiences with fairies and stuff like that? You know how we hear about
All the
fairies.
time.
So yeah, what's your experience? Damn, you said
Listen,
that. You said all the goddamn. I didn't expect you to say. Oh,
look, brother, look, remember I told you before, I said in this part of the earth realm where we at now, in this reality, nobody's allowed to come in a mythical form. You remember me telling you that?
yes, you told me that plenty of times. Yes, indeed.
Right. They look human because they take on a human form. The fairies, the gnomes, the water sprites, the fire sprites, they take on human bodies in the realm of the humans because we're the highest evolved creatures, closest to God walking the earth. And when they come in out of the mythical plane, that's what they call it. Because this is where all the myths is kept alive. The energy just transfer into the human arena, so we can play mortal humans.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them still there. Your unicorns, your fairies, your leprechaun is the Bantu people that was living in Ireland when the Catholic Church was murdering them all. That's why they say he killed the snakes, because the women wore snake armbands and the men wore the snake headband.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
He didn't kill shit. Ain't no snakes. And wasn't no snakes in Ireland. There's no history of snakes in Ireland. There's no
Mm.
fossil record of a snake ever being in Ireland.
Damn.
So what snakes was St. Patrick killing then? And if it ain't never really been no snakes there, and he was made a saint by the Catholic Church for killing snakes, what snakes is he killing? What kind of serpents is these he's killing?
Right. Damn.
They're called Nagas. Nagas.
And that's a
So,
that's a people.
that's the ancient royal families of the earth. The Nagas. Their descendants is the Amaru Khans of the Southwest Americas, moving into Peru and Bolivia and all that stuff.
Right.
Going down into the monkey village in South America when it was the journey to the